And most men got fucked up shapes. Next time your man talking about you gaining some weight, say, hold up, you take off your clothes and you stand in front of the mirror, you knock, need, hairy back, bubble stomach motherfucker.
Okay. So today I have a very, very, very special guest, of course. So this man is an actor, writer, producer, director, and of course, stand-up comedian. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pierre Edwards, or just Pierre.
Just Pierre. Just Pierre. Right. Like, you know, Madonna, Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? Sade, come on, Prince, you know, one name.
Yes, Pierre. It's really, I really want to say thank you for you taking the time out of your, of course, busy schedule, because obviously, you know, you're a busy man. Mm-hmm. Been doing this thing since 1985. Like that's
high school.
Mm-hmm. Over almost 40 years in the making. Sorry.
That's all right. No, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with age and time. So some people, you're lucky if you can get to that point. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying?
That is true, especially in this day and time with a lot
of now
in the world. You're very correct, sir. And of course, you know, seeing a lot of the things that you've done within comedy and how it's shaped a generation, and how, you know, now to actually see you being able to, well, more so myself being old enough to go to a comedy club, I can actually see what it's like to actually see you, you know, do your material, which is awesome. So of course I do want to more so kind of get into like your origin. Now, I know that you grew up you were born in, was it Killeen, Texas?
Yep, Killeen, Texas. Army base, Army brat.
Okay. And then, of course, like you said, at your comedy show, you moved to Germany for a little bit with your family. And then you came back to America and you grew up in Washington, D.C.
There you go.
Yes. So now I know that you said when in 1982, you first saw Eddie Murphy's Delirious. You know, I remember the whole red suit, kind of like Jackson's a little bit.
Sure.
And I want to ask you, like, other than just like Eddie Murphy, what could you share with us about like your journey, kind of like navigating into comedy? Like, I know that you were 17, but like, did it start like a little bit younger than that, or like, explain to us?
I was always funny, class clown. In fact, I used to put shows on at our house. You know, we had guests. My parents, you know, they love to entertain. And so I would come and do a little show in front of the guests or so forth. I remember I would also go down in Germany, in the town I lived in. They had a water fountain, like a center water fountain. And all the soldiers would go there, and they would see young German ladies or whatever want to talk to them. And they'd always would send me over there to talk to them, and I'd act crazy or handicapped or just be funny for some money. So I was a showman, you know, so I always was a showman. And in school, like I said, I was really funny and was a class clown. And then when he moved to Washington, D.C., I was 11 years old. Like I told you on the comedy show, you know, I did not look like the normal 11-year-old. I had long hair, not from the hood. I moved to the hood. You know what I'm saying? I had long flowing hair like Prince, like I said, or like Farrah Fawcett. You know, that was not the look. You know, feathered hair as a little boy in the hood. So I got teased a lot. But I was really good with what we called on the East Coast, joning or snapping or bagging or ranking or whatever. I was good at talking about people and stuff. And that was like my defense mechanism. You know, when people wanted to fight me or wanted to talk trash or whatever, I was really funny. So I had a propensity to be funny at all times. And it was just a natural, you know, maturation to go on stage. Well, I didn't know about stage until I saw Eddie Murphy doing Delirious. And I said, okay, I want to do that.
Wow, that's awesome. So it's always been ingrained within you, you know, basically from when you were like, you know, like a little boy. And then of course, your defense mechanism, of course, against bullying. Now, I did want to ask you, because I don't know if this is true or not, but I want to hear it from the source, from you. I did see something where you were in 6th grade and you were invited on Good Morning America for your humor. Okay.
Well, not for my humor. I always excelled with building stuff. I'm very creative and crafty. And we had a little competition, and to build something out of scraps, you know, whatever. You can build whatever you want. Just take some stuff. And I built a Model T car, so old-fashioned car from the 20s. And I used, like, for the windshield was a microscope glass, you know, a little glass you put stuff on, you know. I used that as the windshield. I used like some what was some checkers, some tires and so forth. So I built that, and I won in at my school. And then we had like again, I'm in DC, so we had DC, Maryland, Virginia competition, and I won that. And they displayed that one morning on Good Morning America. And
Wow.
and so I got to go down to like a fair, like a science fair kind of thing. And I got to go down there, and I remember seeing the guy from TV, and I was like, oh my God. I think his name is Hartman or something. People can look it up. Old guy back in the late 70s. And I remember seeing him. I was like, oh my God, this is the guy from TV, as it's so funny how people do that to me now. Like, you're from the movies. I'm like, yeah. But so, yeah, so that's, I won that. I didn't win at that point, but I wanted to be down there. And, they showed my stuff, and it might've went bigger than that. And then I don't know whatever happened after that, but yep.
Okay. That's really awesome. Of course, it kind of was like foreshadowing in a sense,
Sure.
because you ended up being the same position where people are like, oh my goodness, like I know you're Pierre,
And I was always a fan of people. Like I said, I was enamored with seeing people on celebrities and wanting to say something. And I don't think anybody had a bad experience ever meeting me. I never really am bad with people because I understand how nervous they can be to meet me. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am, but
Yeah.
this is their first time meeting me. So I know how I felt when I was meeting somebody famous. I met Eddie Murphy one time when I was a young comic, and I wouldn't want people to be mean to me or rude or whatever. So I make sure I'm not that way to other people, so.
Treat others the way you want to be treated, regardless of
Without a
who
doubt.
you are, how famous you are. I just wish
And,
that a lot of
and to be fair, there's sometimes when we celebrities have a bad day or don't feel like it, we're going through something, and people come up to me, and we don't have that. But it's not that person's fault. You give them the energy that they want, real quick, and then move off. You know what I'm saying? I would never give somebody a negative energy. Now, sometimes I might go out, like going to catch an airplane or whatever. I might have a hoodie on and some shades, whatever. I'm not trying to be like, hey, I'm in the airport, everybody. But if you recognize me, I wouldn't be mean to you. You know what I'm saying? So I try to be incognito a little bit. Sometimes when you just got stuff to do, you don't feel like it. And sometimes we're not in the position. This is some people I'll tell you when I take pictures with celebrities. Sometimes, like if I want to take a picture of you now, you're pretty. But if I caught you waking up in the morning, you might be like, hell no, look at that camera on my face. And people don't care when they want to take a picture of you, a celebrity, how you looking. You might be scruffy looking, have dingy clothes on, and you're like, I don't want to take a picture of that. Oh, you're rude. Nah, I'm rude. I don't want to be seen. All your friends see me, because what's going to happen is your friends going to like, oh, he looking all dusty and everything. Why he look like that? But if we say no, then you're like, oh, yeah, you like that? Oh, that's messed up. So it's not always because they're being arrogant or mean. Sometimes they're like, hell, I don't feel like I'm at my best. I don't want to be the world see my picture like this. Yeah.
It's like that, when you may be going out or whatever, and you may be a little bit tipsy, and you may look, look a little lightheaded, and people take a picture, and you like, look, I look crazy right now. I look sweaty and stuff. And I understand, I feel like people tend to forget celebrities are people too.
There you go.
Celebrities are human as well.
Sure.
All right. So, loosened up a little bit,
There you go. Come on. We good.
Okay, cool. So now I do want to go into, since we went to your origin story, I do want to go into, your influences, your aspirations, which comedians or entertainers that inspired your comedic style.
To be honest, one of the first persons who ever influenced me was my father. My father was very funny, very quick-witted. To this day, he passed away a couple of years ago, but people who know him always tell me how funny my father was, how cool he was. I remember my father had so quick comebacks that I used to think as a little boy that the conversation he had with somebody with a quick comeback that was just perfect. I thought they had rehearsed that conversation before.
Wow.
I'm like, there's no way you can say that and it fits perfectly in what you just said. Now I do it, you know what I'm saying? I have a quick wit and I can say stuff. It just fits perfectly. I don't know, it's just a trait from my father, I guess. But he was the first one I was like, man, you fast. I mean, that you funny. My father was just quick-witted, just really quick-witted. But I would say after that, probably Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was huge to a lot of comedians. He probably had the most influence, I would say. Yeah, without a doubt, he probably had the most influence of any urban comedian. I mean, the whole Def Jam, the way comedians are. Comedians. he brought sexy into comedy. You know, comedians weren't sexy at first. They were, you know, sport coat, a little skinny tie. Hey, my name is Mike. How you doing? It was all that kind of stuff. He brought leather and coolness to it and so forth. And now when you see whoever thinks they're like, let's say Kevin Hart's and all them people wearing leather or cool stuff on stage, that was Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy was a big influence on me.
Okay, that's really awesome, because even when he was on SNL, I think a lot of people will know that he kind of, in a sense, more so carried his season.
Without a doubt. You know, black people turned it on because of him. It was, you know, it died out. You know what I'm saying?
It
Even white
did die
people
out
turned
at
it on
some
too.
point,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's, that's awesome, because I do like, Eddie Murphy movies, especially his animation called The PJs. I grew up watching
wow.
that, and it was me and my parents, we love that animation. It's really, really fun.
To me, he is one of the urban people like him a lot, but I think he's one of the most slept on entertainers of all time. Of course, we know him, but we don't praise him like we praise other actors. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you what's funny. Most dramatic actors will tell you comedy is the hardest thing to do. Because comedy is about timing. Dramatic acting is not really about timing.
No.
You know, if the timing ain't right, the joke don't work. you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. So with dramatic acting, and so a lot of times, because it's such a silly feeling, like fun thing that people feel like there's not a lot of effort put or talent put behind it, but it's very difficult. Well, you came and saw me. I mean, to stay on stage for an hour to make people laugh, you have to think about it. You got to try to invoke a reaction every couple seconds, every 10, 15 seconds. You know what I'm saying? If I sit up there and start talking for 10 minutes and y'all don't get a laugh, y'all walk out and leave. Like, this is boring. But somebody could sing a song for 5 minutes and you could just sit there and listen without, doing anything. At the end, you'll clap for the song, or a violinist play. You like listen and all that, just quiet. Not with comedy. Comedy has to invoke a reaction. So that's a very difficult thing. And I think someone like Eddie Murphy really needs more flowers, to me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, there's a lot of comics I think like that. So you get more flowers.
Okay, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Now, I know that you more so, how should I say? I know that you were definitely about 1920 when you got into comedy, but
17,
sorry, 17, we got into comedy.
I was in high school.
But more so when you were like around, let's say like 22, like in 87, was that really when you took it more serious?
Well, I became 22 in 90. I think it was about 90. No, I took it serious. I got shot in 87.
Okay.
20. I think it's 1920.
By the Jamaican gangsters, correct?
Right. I got shot there. And hanging out with my buddies, we should just hang out, have a good time. It's funny, my buddies used to have dancing routines. They work on routines. So whenever we go to a crowd where some people are, our age, whatever, and they break out into their dance routine, we get all the attention, and some guys get mad about it, and all the girls are like us, because girls like a guy who could dance really good and stuff. Back then, they were. I just hung out with some fly, cool, crazy dudes, and funny guys, and we get a lot of attention. So sometimes that wasn't good. But I used to hang with them. I would do comedy. I mean, I was really young at the time, so I wasn't really sure if that could be a living, if I could make a living with it. But when I got shot, I decided, you know what, man, hang out with my boys. Let me chill with that. I hung out with a little more, but I took comedy more serious then. At that point, I said, let me focus on this, because this almost took my life hanging out with them. And not like they were bad guys, just guys were jealous of us. We come into a crowd and we turn the crowd out. We turn the party out. We start dancing and everybody start moving back. Oh, not me dancing, but my friends were dancing. Everybody looked, oh my God, who are these guys? And so it was always fun, but I was like, you know what? Let me focus on stand-up more then. And that's when I started to take it a little more serious about 89, 90, about it, yeah. And then Martin and Tommy went to Hollywood, and I saw them. Tommy Davis and Martin Lawrence went to Hollywood. And I came up with them in a comedy game. And when I saw them being successful, that's when I started thinking, hold on, if they can do it from here, I can do it,
Oh, definitely.
So,
It's always great to see inspiration from other people, especially people that looks like you.
Sure.
It's like, if they can do it, if they're making it, I know I can. Like,
especially when you come from the same place too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because remember, I came from
more of a motivation.
And I came from DC, and DC is not a comedy entertainment town. Back then, it was a government town. You get you a good government job, get your 2-week vacation, and live next to your mama for the rest of your life. And that's how you do till you retire. And that's how everybody was pushing everybody. Get you a good government job. Go work for the government. You couldn't tell nobody you wanted to be a comedian for a living. We didn't see that. We know what? A musician, a comedian? Nah, man, we get you a government job. So I had to fight that. When I saw Tommy and Martin fight it and get out, I was like, hold on, they can do it. Then I started refocusing of going to Hollywood.
Right, all right. Now, I do want to ask you, of course, since you've been, like I said, you've been doing this for almost 40 years, and you have been in the making with the comedy and stuff. How did you really craft your comedy? Like, meaning, how did you typically go about crafting your comedy material? Could you walk us through like your creative process from idea, and then going on stage with it, like what you did at the comedy show, and you said you had some new material.
Right. Well, I'm different now than I was when I was younger with new material. I'm more confident now because I have a personality, a persona, and people will accept it a little more. When you're young and new, they don't know who you are, and that shit, if it ain't funny, like, what? Who are you? That wasn't funny. Where now, it's a different feel. They expect me to be funny, and they look forward for me to be funny. But as a young comedian, it's funny how I first started out. I was in school, and I had a newspaper, and I saw the weekend section, and showed a comedy club, and I said, okay, let me try to see that. So I went there on a Friday. They have open mics on Thursday, but I looked at it on a Friday at school. And so at night I went to a comedy club, and I ran into a comedian, the only Black comic on the show. They normally have an opening act, a feature, and then the headliner. This guy was the feature, the middle act, and he was Black. The other two were white. And between shows, he was sitting in the corner. So I walked up to him. I said, I sat next to him. I said, how do you get into this? How do you do this? How do you get into comedy? And he gave me the worst advice. He was like, go home, get you 5 minutes of material, come back on Thursday and open mic night. And I remember getting in the car thinking, what's material? What's 5 minutes of material? Remember, I don't know. I know how to talk about people and stuff, but I don't know what a joke is. I don't know how long a joke goes and so forth. I'm driving home, and at the time, a guy named Stephen Wright is a comedian, and Rodney Dangerfield, they had albums, and I had listened to their albums. So I was like, you know what? Let me take some of their jokes, make them urban, and then go back on open mic night, So I went back open mic night with their jokes, but I made them urban, and everybody was like, man, you funny as hell, man, you great. And so I was like, this is easy. This ain't nothing to, do. Even though I was stealing their jokes. They didn't know it, though. And so for the first probably 2.5 months, 3 months, I was doing that, around the town, open mic nights, doing their material. And then one day I was on the way. What happens, you sign up at 6 p.m. on that Thursday, and the show is at 9 p.m. So between 6 and 9, you can stay in DC, go back home, whatever. But at 9 o'clock, you had to come. And people had to pull a number. It's 30 comedians. Everybody had to pull a number. And I was like number 3, whatever number you are, you come back, that's the position you perform. You had 5 minutes. And I pulled like a 3 or whatever one night. And this is like three months after I was doing in comedy. I've been doing it. And on the way there, I was running. I went home, came back. I only lived like 30 minutes from the comedy club, and came back. I got a ticket. I got pulled over, got a ticket. So I'm like, hurry up. I'm running late for my show. Come on. To the cop. The cop gave me a ticket. I pulled off. I went to the comedy club. As I went in, I remember I'm the third comic. They was on the second comic. They're like, oh, here you are. Hurry up, Pierre. Come on, let's go. You're going you next, man. And so I went on stage. And I was pissed off. I talked about what had happened. Man, the cop pulled me over, and this man ticket and blah, blah, blah. And people started laughing. And I was like, this is real stuff. This has happened. You know what I'm saying? I was just frustrated. But they were laughing the way I was putting it into my story. And I was like, oh my God, y'all were laughing at what happened to me in real life? Remember, I don't know how to do comedy. I'm using Rodney Dangerfield and Stephen Wright's jokes. I was like, oh, okay. And so I steadily started thinking about stuff in my life and taking stuff out and putting, other jokes I had, 5 minutes of jokes I had, other, Rodney Dangerfield and Stephen Wright. I started putting my own stuff in. And within about a month and a half later, 2 months later, I had my own material. And it was just me, stuff that hits me. I just sit there and, as a comic, it just hits you. I can't sit down and just write material, say, let me think of some jokes. No, I got to be driving in the shower or whatever. And it hits me, I can be talking to somebody and say, that's funny. Then I jot it down. And I look at it and try to find, I look at it. I really care about my jokes making sense, having punchlines, double entendres, all that kind of stuff, wordplay. So I try to do that, and then I bring it on stage, and you guys get to see it.
Wow, that right there, that's a true comic right there. Compared to some people, that you may see, and they feel like I want to say like some people don't even, they don't do that. And I feel like some people don't do that really nowadays. It's more of like, oh, I got this one viral moment.
Sure. It's really different. first of all, the social media, the internet is really an under 30s game. Okay, more people are under 30 on social media than over 30. Over 30, you got kids, you got bills to pay, you got jobs to go to. But when you're under 30, you can be on the bus, bus to read at school, lunch on the phone, all that is big. That's the age it's for. So their appetite or knowledge of comedy is just going to be on a lower brow. No disrespect to them. It's just what it is. They like sillier stuff. A guy could turn around, slap somebody and run and go around slapping people. He slap man, and all y'all want to watch slap man. Oh man, slap man funny as hell. He slap people and run. That's nothing to do that. You get what I'm saying? Or somebody can run into a room like, y'all kiss my ass here. Walk out again and go to a mall and a store and yell at that. Go to the hospital and yell at that. Y'all want to follow that dude just likes to yell at stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing to me. To me, no disrespect to them, but it's not really talent to do that. So it's under 30, and those get the hits and the viral moments. So people who have really good material are more for the older crowds. Say over 30, 35, 40, 45. And people who want to hear stuff that they can feel, you know what I'm saying? And not just instantaneously. I want to hear you talk about how rough your day is, how hard it is paying taxes, how hard it is raising kids, how hard it is, at your job. As a comedian, I want to hear that stuff. I don't want to hear you dancing. You ever been on a show? You ever been dancing in the club and whatever? Just some silly stuff, which is cool for the under 30. That ain't me. That's why I don't chase under 30-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to them, but that's not my group. Now, if somebody is under 30 and mature enough to like what I do, fine. But I'm not about to do silly stuff for a younger crowd to get the numbers. That's just not what as well I shouldn't either. That's not my demographic. I always tell people, I ain't mad at now-laters, the now-later candy.
Yeah.
There's a younger generation can eat them. I tear my tooth out eating a now-later at this age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not telling now-laters to stop being made. I'm just not gonna eat them no more. They ain't for me, but they are for somebody. So let the somebody who want to eat now-laters or Twinkies and shit, go on, eat the Twinkies. Twinkie upset my stomach at the age I'm at. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, so if it's silly, crazy stuff they like, go ahead, do it. But it's just not my thing.
I agree with that.
That's where y'all see the comedians sometimes being silly, but they're giving the audience that they are in front of what they want.
Giving the people what they want, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do want to ask you, since you're more of like an intimate type of comedian who likes to connect with their crowd, with their audience. Now, what do you believe is the key to establish a strong connection with your audience whilst giving a live performance?
To be authentic. Have something that people can feel, not hear, but feel it. If you feel it, what happens is you'll go home in the car driving, talking about what I just talked about. Man, that part he's talking about that. Man, you see, man, that part he said this or that. That's what that's a good artist. When you leave with them the next day, you at work thinking, damn, he was funny. We said that thing. Or, damn, or your friends start saying something, to each other. This so-and-so, this so. Now you've really connected with your audience, But to see comics go up there and be whatever, do whatever they want, and then you go home. That was funny. What happened? What'd you see? He was up there wilding. Like, what did he talk about? I don't know. He was up there crazy as hell. He was funny though. He was like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not connected to that. But if you can say, man, that joke he did about this or that, or she did about this or that, that's what I like. There you go. So I think that's what I like to do. And I just like to be a clever comedian. I just like to be a clever, thought-provoking comedian. If it's not what the masses want, that's fine. But in my core, I want to be just like a rappers. I want to be lyrics. I want to be a lyricist. We like that wordplay was dope. That was a dope line you just said. That's my thing.
I agree with that. And it's funny that you said, you have audience members that will go back and be like, oh, that was a funny joke. Even when you made the joke about, Frank, I was just like, oh man, like, it makes me want to go back and listen to that one Outkast song called So Fresh and So Clean, where he mentions her. I was like, that was funny, but of course that's
no. That's why I want, yeah. Yeah,
no,
yeah. I mean, that's next level.
It is, it definitely is. Now, of course, you as a comedian, and you've been doing this for a very long time. Of course, anybody deals with their ups and downs in their career. Now, I want to ask, can you share a particular challenging moment in your career, and how did you overcome it? And what moment was truly your most memorable in your career?
Good question. I remember, now I'm famous at this time, pretty famous, whatever. And I remember one time I put a I put a check in for $500. I did a little show and somebody gave me a $500 check. And I put it into the bank, gave it to the bank teller, and she gave me back like a receipt with like $335 on it. And I was like, "No, miss, I gave you $500. You put the wrong amount of money in." She's like, "No, you were overdrawn." And I was like, "What?" I mean, I was negative 200 some dollars. I was like, and I got bills to pay. And I was like, "What?" I thought I had a couple $1,000s in the bank account, but you know how you think you writing checks all day or going to the mall, whatever you do, whatever I was doing. Sometimes the checks come in later, longer, and stuff starts hitting your account later on. I'm like, holy cow, I only got 300 some dollars in my pocket. Now this was like in the middle of the month. And so most of my bills came at the end of the month.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh my God. Now remember, I'm by myself. I have nobody helping me pay these bills. This is me, nobody to turn to. And so I got on the phone, and here's a lesson. I had great relationships with a lot of people, a lot of promoters. I had a lot of great relationships with them. And so I got on the phone and was just taking anything. And say, yo, you got something? Oh, P, you want to come through here this weekend, next weekend? I got $700. I got $500. I got $1,500. I got $1,000. I got on not the Greyhound. What's the other bus? Mega bus. I got on the mega bus. And I went in the back of the bus, put my hoodie on, my headphones on, my shades. I didn't want anybody to know it was me on the bus and stuff. But as soon as I got on the mega bus, the guy taking the ticket was like, "Hey, we got the comedian on the bus." I was like, "Shut up, man. Do it in front of everybody." So I got in the bus. I was embarrassed. I said, let me sit in the back. So I sat in the back and I rode, I think, all the way to New York. I think it was in New York or wherever it was. I think it was New York. Something like around New York for like $800. We're talking about taking a mega bus, going there and coming back for $800. But I had to do what I had to do to help him get some money to pay my bills. I was like, holy cow. So I just started working and just taking every little thing. I was in places people was like, "What are you doing in this city?" Like, little, Tulsa, Oklahoma, some little small ass town or whatever. They're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Man, making some money. I had to get my money on." You know what I'm saying? So I had just work. And then I built my money up, and it's never been like that again. That was, I don't know how long, maybe 10, 12 years ago, what it was. But never had to do that again. Thank God, but the blessing was I was able to make that money. You know what I'm saying? Now that rides over someone who has a 9 to 5 when they only get a paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever it is. You're not getting more than that paycheck is. So thank God I was able to pick the phone up and call people and give them, get them to give me some money. But yeah, I was only had $300 some in my account at one point, and I was famous. I'm giving autographs and taking pictures with people. They had no idea how broke I was. So it was what it was. Yeah.
And that literally goes to show, no matter who you are.
And to this day now, I got more money than I've ever had in my life. You know what I'm saying? So it just real. You just keep on working and being a good person and doing good work and just taking everything and just working. Yeah. So I'm blessed. Very blessed.
The blessing will come in.
Yes. Just do good work and be a good person. Yeah. If you do good work and be a good person, you might be shady and get away with something once in a while, but trust me, it'll come back and bite you. It always happens. I've seen so many people who were shady in this business that damn near now out the business because what they did. Like Maya Angelou said something one time, and this made stuff make really sense to me. It was a famous quote: "People don't always remember what you said to them, but they always remember how you made them feel." And that's something I always remember. When you walk away from me, I want you to feel good, because some people can say, let's say it was you. They're like, "I don't like her. She ain't that. Like, what she do, man? Forget her. She ain't that." They don't know what it was, but they remember 5 years ago, you didn't make them feel good. So man, forget her. You know what I'm saying? I don't like her. Like, for what? What did she do? So I try to make sure people believe me that, we have good, and even sometimes I'm willing to take a little L, you know what I'm saying? When I know I wasn't the wrong, they was the right, just to make it work. You know what I'm saying? And they know what they did. You know what I'm saying? People know what they did. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you think about it, is this battle worth fighting for? You know what I'm saying? If it's not, let it go. It ain't that serious. Let it go. Okay, you won, move on. And I used to not be like that. I was a fighter to the end. But now I'm like, it's not worth it, And a lot of times people come back to you and they apologize to you. Yeah.
You're definitely correct. Sometimes, people will feel like, oh, I was wrong how I acted towards you. And you kind of just, feel like, yeah, you were wrong for how you acted towards me, because I didn't do anything to you. But as you get older and you mature, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to
You're absolutely right.
Let God handle you,
There you go.
Now, I do want to ask, of course, on stage presence. what techniques do you use to engage and captivate your audience while performing live on stage? Now, I know, of course, you said that, it's authenticity, but what else could you say that the kind of presence you bring on stage as well?
It's actually funny. I just changed it with my special. Before, when you saw me, I was working on my special, my material for my new special. What happened was when Def Comedy Jam came out back in the early 90s, they had never seen comedy like that. All that energy. If you ever know, I don't know if you old enough to go back and see some tapes, people flipping and jumping and dancing and
Oh, I
did this,
remember, yeah.
all that yeah. All that. Before that, comics stood up on stage and just stood in front of a microphone. If you ever watched like Johnny Carson, even black comics had a sport coat and hi, my wife did this, and my girlfriend, whatever the case. They stood still. They never seen that electric energy of running around doing it. And a lot of stars became stars. Arnez J, Eddie Griffin, a lot of them with all that energy came out, came Chris Tucker. God damn, man, what's up, man? All that energy. Well, that was what, 30 years ago. And as I got older, and so now the audience, when that happened, the audience started expecting that from all the comics. Give me that energy, get up there, get crazy, blah, blah, blah. And so what happened, if you gave that kind of crowd a little break and relaxed, they start thinking you ain't doing well. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, hold on, boo, boo, hold on. So we felt like we had to perform, blah 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 blah, like that. Well, if you noticed, in the last couple of years, it's starting to change a little bit. You see the people like Dion Cole stand there, Dave Chappelle just stand there, Ali Sadiq sit down. You see it's different now. It's not the same ripping and running, because now we're getting mature. People are accepting comics for just standing there. As long as you deliver funny material, you don't have to run and jump all over the place no more. It's a different thing. Now it's about the lines and the jokes, because what happened with the young comics, and I was part of it, it was more about the physicality. We would tell you something and then we would act it out. So that's a way you could do a joke too. You ever been walking down the street and you fall, but you look around, make sure no one else is seeing you, then you straighten yourself up, and then they would walk and fall, and they would act it out. So they tell you the joke and they would act it out. Well, I was doing that for years and it was but a lot of comics do that. And I was like, so recently I said, and I talk fast too. So I said, let me bring the energy down a little bit, still be funny, but just bring the energy down. So as you saw when I sat down and I talked to y'all and I got up and moved around and I sat down, because it's like an ebb and flow, it's an ebb and flow. It don't have to be like this all the time. Bang, 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 bang. You don't have to be like that. Nothing in life you really want that. You want ebb and flows and stuff, because you can't have the good without the bad and the bad without the good. You need to feel it, to appreciate all that stuff. So with that being said, when I shot my special, I went to it like two weeks before we started shooting it. We were going to shoot it. We went to what's called a walkthrough with the cameraman, the sound, and all that. And I saw the venue, and I had ordered a stool because I knew they didn't have a stool, but they had a director's chair. I was like, wow, that looks kind of cool, a director's chair. So on my special, I sit in a director's chair. So I get out and I talk, because director's chair, you got the arms you can stay on, sit there, your feet up. It's a different feel. So when I needed to talk and tell y'all something where I need to walk around or show you something physical, I would do that, but then I'll come back and sit back down again. So now I'm here in El Paso at a comedy club. I actually bought I purchased a director's chair and a carrying case. So I took it on the plane with me, under the plane, my luggage. I had somebody paint my name on it. It looks dope. Now I leave it up on stage, and now I do that. So now my act is a little different. I sit and chill at times, but then I get up and give you that energy. And I sit and chill, and I give you that energy. Even when I'm chilling, I'm still funny. I'm telling you stories now. As you saw my life, I tell you about my life stories and so forth. I'm giving you different feels. It's not all bang, 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 bang. First of all, I'm getting too old for that. That's one thing. And that's not my crowd. My crowd want to sit down, and relax too. So now I do a little bit of that, up and down.
I definitely agree with you. Of course, when going to your comedy show, it definitely was a mixture of, now I'm 21, obviously. And comedy, like you said, is a little bit different within my age bracket. But of course, I also enjoy comics like you, who are very calm. You can be up 1 minute and then, sit down and chill the next minute. And of course, like you said, your crowd is over 30, which is, of course, my parents' age and whatnot, and my sister too. But of course, even for someone like me, I can definitely enjoy comics like you, definitely. Because
Sure.
I feel like for me, I like to look at like a calm type of comic. Some moments you can, when you're telling a story, oh, this happened to me like last week, and this was like the craziest thing in the world. And then one moment be like, yeah, y'all, it's getting crazy out here. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
able to, like you said, go through the wave. And also as get old, as you age too, you're able to adapt
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to your
Mm-hmm.
audience, which is
Sure.
what every comic should definitely do.
Sure. Sure.
Now,
Sure.
future plans. Now, of course, you did say, of course, you did just finish your comedy special. Now, what else is in? Oh yeah, and merch.
No, but my name, my special.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
guarantees the name of the special.
Yes. And this is my podcast. Look at that
Of
podcast right
course,
behind you.
Pierre's Panic Room. Definitely, my dad loves your podcast. He loves it.
That's beautiful, beautiful. I appreciate that, Dad. Thank you. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Now what else is going on within with you? Within 2024 in general.
It's some exciting times. I have two movies on Tubi. I wrote, produced, and directed.
Yep.
It's called Slice, SLICE. It's a horror comedy. I have part 3 coming. So if you want to see part 1, part 2, it's on Tubi right now. My special, we're editing my special up as we speak. I'm touring. That's really, getting connected with my audience again in the way I'm doing it now is more exciting now again, instead of the norm of me just, like I said, standing up, telling jokes, going back and forth, sitting down, relaxing, coming up with new material, feeling more comfortable to do new material. I would say that. My podcast is doing very well. Thanks everybody who watches my podcast, Pierre's Panic Room on YouTube. We have great guests, some really great guests. And I think mine's a little bit different because I was wondering, like, everyone has a podcast, everyone has guests, but it really all depends on the host. How does the host handle the guest? Because you can have the same guest on 3 different shows, and it could be 3 different shows because the hosts are all different. Do you get what I'm saying? Asking different questions, so it's not the same feeling. I'm a little more, I'm not saying I'm a little more, I'm a little fearless. I can ask you some questions. And I know a lot of the people, I've spent my time with them. So I know where the dead bodies are. Okay. I know where you hiding stuff at. I know the stories. Okay. So you can't just tell me anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I know I was there. That ain't what happened, whatever. And people like to sit there and laugh, have a good time with me. And again, like I said, people really like that podcast. And I've written a couple of movies.
Definitely. Of course, and I do want to say, for anybody who definitely is a little bit older than me, I remember watching the movie for the Love of Money.
Yeah, my first movie I wrote, produced, and directed.
Yes, I was definitely like a nostalgic moment because I think I remember seeing that movie when I was probably a little bit younger, or whatever. Probably shouldn't have been watching it, but
Yeah, it was crazy stuff in there.
but seeing it over again was just like, wow, like time has really passed. And I do want to talk about your book really quick because I did.
No problem.
My dad did get it at your.
Oh, right. There you go.
100 Homies and Phonies of Hollywood. And I do want to just ask a couple key things because I did notice in the book that you talked about a couple of celebrities that, the ones that I really like. And
Okay.
especially you talked about page 187, you talked about Mystical, which of course at the time he was definitely really popular, Master P, the whole shebang. And I guess this whole book, I was really taken aback by the storytelling that you did, and a lot of the accounts that you remembered. Like this story has a lot of pages, so that the fact that you were able to remember a lot of the encounters that you had with a lot of these celebrities and stuff was phenomenal, and I really do love the so.
The cover, The cover actually has a little definition for. If you look at the cover, I'm shining the light. If you look at the cover, I'm shining the light on Hollywood. Okay, I'm shining. See how the lights are shining. You see like the lights are coming like that across.
Yeah.
So I'm shining the lights right on Hollywood, breaking through, and you see that pen is my microphone. It's a microphone pen. And so I'm writing my story, coming through. Most comedy clubs have brick walls, so I'm coming through the wall, telling y'all what's behind the wall. That's kind of all that. That's all that kind of making it sense. What it's about.
All right, definitely. And like I said, I really love the cover art and everything. And a lot of the stories really cracked me up, especially the one about the Martin Lawrence story. That was funny. But
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
um,
All of it true. Mm-hmm.
that was really funny. But I do want to say, thank you again, Mr. Pierre, for taking your time out of your busy schedule to let me interview you.
No problem. No, my pleasure, really. I love to see young people doing stuff, and if I can contribute and help, here it is. You know what I'm saying? We all need to help each other. So
Yes,
somebody help me, you know what I'm saying? Somebody, I get people come interview on my show, my podcast, and I'm surprised they would come on my show. Even though I'm famous or whatever, I'm still, very thankful that these people come and spend time with me and, speak. So I'm just paying it forward.
definitely, definitely. And like I said, I really appreciate you. Like I said, I was thinking like, will he do it? Will he not? I was like, if he doesn't, it's great seeing him in person. And if he
That's
does,
all
it'd
good,
be
yeah.
like even great,
Right. Sure.
opportunity.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Don't be afraid to ask. Be fearless and ask, so you never know. You never know how things go. Like I said, if you wouldn't have asked, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
true.
yeah. If you wouldn't ask, and again, every time you ask, everybody's not gonna say yes, but it's okay. Don't take it personal. If you take stuff too personal, then that's not gonna be a good. It's not good for your chakra and your whole system. I used to take stuff personal. Now
Mm,
it's like, you know what? It's okay. They'll either come back around, another time, or they won't come around. It's okay. I'm on a. You got to think of yourself to be laser focused. You're on a mission. Whatever your mission is, if you want to be the next Oprah Winfrey, whatever you want to do, it's a mission. Just stay on that course. And whoever doesn't help you on the mission, just push them to the side. I'm focused. I'm focused. Like I said, when I started comedy, I was told to get a government job. Don't be doing comedy. That ain't what people do. I was focused. I tell you, I tell the story last night about my father putting a chain on the door when I didn't come home by midnight. Sometimes I would tell jokes. I was the last comic to have to go on. I wouldn't get home until midnight. After midnight, and the chain would be on the door. My father tried to stop me. I had to call my sister. We had shared a phone at the home phone. We shared a phone. She had to come downstairs and take the chain off the door. I'd go home and sleep. I slept in my car some nights. I was on a mission. So just you be on a mission and focused.
Thank you. I really
All right.
appreciate it. I really appreciate the advice you gave me today. And of course the interview and just thank you
Okay.
again, Mr. Pierre.
Well, good luck, and I'll see you around. All right.
Definitely. And it would be okay to still contact you even afterwards.
Sure. You can ask stuff. Yep. And for your fans, if they want to follow me on social media,
Oh,
at
definitely.
Comic Pierre, COMICPIERRE, at Comic Pierre.
All
All right.
right, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
girl. Well, keep doing it, and I'll see you around. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye.